This time of year we should really be thinking about getting the beds prepared for the up and coming growing season. Just had some manure delivered. I'm just going to put that into my stockpile, but I'll also put a bit of this onto the top of the beds and let it sink in, hopefully with the weather to come, a bit more rain and probably some frost and maybe snow, that'll bed it in. Me being a conventional gardener, not going down the no dig path, I'll leave that just on the top until probably end of March, beginning of April, and then I'll turn it into the soil, probably 6 inches deep, and then ready for the crops. In the meantime, I noticed just on the way out how quickly the garlic has grown in the last 10 days or so. So the other thing I'm going to do is give that a little top dressing of some chicken pellets. This here is just chicken pellets, and what it'll do, it'll add a bit of extra nitrogen to the soil. So these have really come up in the last couple of weeks. Two varieties in here. The lighter coloured one is the Marco, and the darker one is the one called Allotment. So that's going to be the feed now. I'll just let that wash in. Well, give them nothing else now until harvest. These beds here, where I've got a few spare of the Marco left, but these two here, and I think this one here is the elephant garlic. Now these always take a longer while to come up, obviously than planted a bit deeper, but nevertheless. Now I'm underway with getting the beds dressed and whatever. Pop indoors with me and we'll have a look at what the planting plan is. If you're new around the channel, this is more or less a schematic of the beds on my allotment. Basically there's 4 large areas, 4 beds, and 6 metres long by 2.5 wide, and those are equally divided into 3. So that's a total of 12 equally sized beds. And on the end we've got a few oddities down that one end and down the opposite end here. There's a number of advantages of having beds the same size, such as if I build any frames or cloches, I know that I can pop them on any of those beds and they'll fit. And also it comes in very handy as well when you're doing crop rotation, because for as an example, I could put something in these 3 beds here. When I rotate the crops, I'll just move them up. So what's grown in beds 4A, B, C will next year go into 3A, B, C, and so on. And number 1 flips back to 4. So that's the schematic. Let's have a look what we're going to plant in it. Beginning at the end of the beds, we'll look at in here, and this is the permanent place for the carrots. These are grown in cement tubs, what they use on the construction sites. This tank here is actually still full of carrots. I've not harvested any, but I've just emptied that one. Across this side there, the garlic, which was planted around about October, that's come up quite nice. There's 2 varieties in there. And across here, in the smaller tanks, all I've put it as a block, we've got the elephant garlic, and that's just starting to pop its head up. It's been in about 6 weeks now, and it's quite slow germinating, but it seems to be okay. And just over to the right here is where the veggie is. Moving up to the next row here, I've got the courgettes. I'll probably be putting 2. I think I did 3 last year, and there's way too many, so 2 will do. And I'll be putting my French beans in here. I've got a few pongos still left, and also the Ferrari, they'll be going in there. And down below me, I'm doing part of the outdoor tomatoes. I'm doing a little bank here, which is just going to be for the cherry tomatoes. I'm growing some of those in the greenhouse as well. And in the middle bed here will be the salad crops, a good selection of different lettuces, spring onions, radish, and also beetroot as well. But the main beetroot in here, I'll be taking them like the golf ball size, the tiny ones, which I like on the salads. And across this bed here will be the 12 tomatoes. Normally I grow 12 Crimson Crush, but I think I'm going to do 4 Crimson Crush, 4 Crimson Plum, and I may do another 4 blight resistant tomatoes yet, but I don't know. All those will be blight resistant, but not necessarily the same variety. And in here I've got large beetroot. What I do, I interplant the beetroot between the rows of the tomatoes, and I'll be thinning these out and let them go like a sweet size, because I do like them sliced and pickled later on. Moving on to block number 2, this is the brassica bed. As you can see, we've got calabrese, cauliflower, cabbage. Cauliflower and cabbage, I'm not sure what ratio I'll be doing them in. I tend to eat more cauliflower than cabbage, but saying that, I've still got a cabbage on the allotment now. Turnip, question mark. Believe it or not, I've never grown turnip, but I've seen a few on our side grow one called Snowball, I think it is, and it looked quite nice. So I may throw a few of them in, just see what happens. And also kohlrabi as well, we quite like that. And right along the row, I always plant Brussels sprouts, the Crispus variety, and there'll be 4 plants in each section, so a total of 12. On to section 3 here. This is when I'm going to have me 24 containers of potatoes, 6 rows of 4. There'll be probably 4 rows of 4 of the Charlottes. There'll be 1 row of 4 of the Sarpalmira, and 1 row of 4 of a new blight resistant variety, which I'm still waiting for to come from the supplier. And in between those, I also plant the sunflowers as well, because what I do, I earth up the buckets, the containers that I grow potatoes in, and then the sunflowers actually love that and feed off it. In the middle bed, we've got celeriac, swede, and parsnip, and bringing up on the right hand side is the celery and 3 rows of peas. Section 4, we've got some shallots, some pot leeks and normal leeks, and in the middle section there we've got the banana type shallots. And I've also allowed a bit of a space here because I'm not sure how many seed onions I'll be growing. Definitely not as many as last year, but saying that, the large Kelsey type, them still storing well. I'll do a bit of a video clip a bit later on and you can see how I'm doing. So that bed and this little section here will be for the seed onions. And last but not least, I've got this big section here where I built that permanent bed, and these are the permanent runner bean one. And I've got a space allocated here where I'm going to build another coal frame. I've still got all the material for it, but I've not got round to do it. So that there is my planned planting for 2024. First thing I'm going to have a look at is the bean bed. As you can see, I've still got the old beans up there hanging on for life. I'm going to get them down, just do a quick weed in the bed, then I'll top dress that with manure. I'm just finishing off now with the top dressing on the manure. Surprisingly, this is only sunk by about 3 inches. I thought it would have been more than that because it's a fairly new bed. Not to worry. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this. I've got enough at least to fill it to the top, and so this will be in here till the March or so, then I'll just dig it in. So like we was doing the bed preparation on the main ones, I'm also looking at the stuff within the carrot tank as well. And so this now is completely empty. I've just harvested the last few out of here. But pop you into the next one. As you can see, this is more or less a full house. Now the plan is I'm going to try and get it so that I've got carrots year round. And obviously, as we need to prepare this ready for this year's sowings, I'm going to be taking what's left and probably storing them in I've got some plastic containers. I'll be going into old spent potato compost, or probably I've got some sand as well, I could use them in there. So that's the plan for these. And as I said, I did harvest the last few carrots out of here. Also got some parsnips. We've got about 6 parsnips left out of the old crop now. This is the best one I've picked this morning. Give them a quick swill. And there's the rest of the carrots, the sweet candle. So why not join me in the next video where we'll be looking at what we're going to be sowing during the month of February. Bye for now.